Over the course of its life, over 700 games were released for the NES, and most of them are weird. And these companies, they didn't even try and hide how weird these games were. Going to a store and walking past shelves of NES games, that could have been a confusing or even disturbing experience. There are 3 particularly strange NES games that I own. The first of them is The Wall Street Kid. The Wall Street Kid is a stock market-based adventure game with a cast that could have come right out of Archie comics. You're introduced to everyone you're ever going to meet at the very beginning of the game, but they're all bankers, lawyers, consultants, advisors, real estate agents, various salespeople. Pretty much the most exciting cast you could hope for in an adventure game based on the stock market. When you get into the actual story, you find the Wall Street Kid, happy as can be to find out that his uncle's dead, and as an added bonus, he's been left $600 billion. But in order to collect, he has to meet certain conditions with the stock market, and that's the game. This is what actual gameplay looks like for Wall Street Kid. They didn't really utilize screen real estate, so you're jammed in the top half, really upper left corner, and you can only use the items on your desk, so you just use your computer to go in and check out stocks, manage your portfolio, and buy and sell. All of the companies are parodies of actual companies like Apple and Yapple and IBM and YBM. And pretty much, that's it. Well, maybe that's not everything. There are some key tasks you have to do, otherwise you'll get a game over. First of which is going to the gym so that you don't get fat, and second is going on dates with your girlfriend. One of the key goals is keeping her happy, so if she's not, she dumps you and you get a game over. So just take her on dates, and every once in a while you buy her something. That's all the gameplay there is in Wall Street Kid. Aside from that, you're just going to spend your time clicking the clock to skip days and watch your stocks update. This is why Wall Street Kid is a strange game. Some people got together and thought, oh, this is going to be really fun. But it's not. It's not fun. It's not boring. It's just the stock market. As an NES game. The next game is Dudes with Attitude, a game about emoticons searching for treasure on the legendary Pirate Island. The very first thing that you have to do in Dudes is figure out this map. Just move the cursor around, and pressing A, start, select over the X's doesn't seem to do anything. Going down to play doesn't work, and holding B just makes the cursor move around the level between the X's. The only way I got it to actually let me into a level the first time was holding B and just hammering on all the buttons until it let me in. I wasn't quite sure what to expect from the first level of this game. This was definitely not what I would have thought of. It's very different from anything I've seen before. It yells at me when I hit a button that doesn't do anything. And all you gotta do is grab the jewels and avoid the teeth and the things. What the game really is an active puzzle game. Your objective is to collect all the jewels in a stage without being killed by teeth or gum or whatever, and then make it to the exit. However, before you can collect any jewel, you need to match its color by passing through a corresponding colored square. The level design in Dudes with Attitude is consistently interesting. No 2 levels ever play the same, new mechanics are constantly introduced, and every once in a while you just run into levels that are almost a work of art. Dudes with Attitude is a really interesting puzzle game, though its concept and art seems to have been concocted by some guy on acid. The final game is Orb 3D. Orb 3D has one of the best concepts for a game I have ever seen. an evil wizard threatens the galaxy, so you go to kick his ass in space with your spaceship. It just sounds awesome. The potential is amazing. It's really a letdown though when you get into the actual game and all you're doing is popping bubbles. You can't even control your ship. It's like a mixture of Pong and pinball and WarioWare before fun was invented. It really makes you feel like the victim of bait and switch. Anyways, the game is based on accuracy and speed. If you're not accurate or fast enough, you're going to run out of fuel and lose, so you have to go to Vern's gas station, which is essentially a mini-game in which you have to try and put the orb through these holes in order to get gas so you don't die. As if getting gas wasn't difficult enough, sometimes when you go to Vern's, you run into this big purple thing. It doesn't do anything but just sit there and laugh at you and take up time and gas. This thing is absolutely worthless. It just shows up at random every once in a while when you go to Vern's, and what you're supposed to do is fly through its eyes and blind it. There's no point to the whole thing. It's more harmless than the Cookie Monster. I actually started to think that maybe this was a tutorial level, but when I got further into the game, bowling. Seriously? Bowling. It's all like this. Tic-tac-toe. One of those number sliding games. This? Making caterpillars hatch into butterflies? Killing the Cheshire Cat. And then what? Eyeballs? The game just keeps getting weirder the longer you play. It's all just so unexpected, it makes me wonder what came first. Did this all come from the concept, or was the concept created to sell this? Wait. No. It wants you to spell out the solution to some fill-in-the-blank in this game? Screw it. The Dark Wizard can have the galaxy. I don't care anymore. Out of all of this, I have to ask, why were these games weird? Well, first of all, it was the late 80s and early 90s. Second, these games were experimental. Nobody knew it was going to sell at the time, and popular genres and franchises were just being or had not yet been established. These aren't bad games. They're just experimental.